Well, hey there, and welcome to an Ignite Press book launch livecast. My name is Everett O'Keefe. I am the founder of Ignite Press, and I welcome you here. This is going to be fun. We here at Ignite Press specialize in helping people bring their messages to the world through the timeless medium of books. And if you've been working on a book and you have an idea for a book, particularly one to elevate your business or brand or organization, please reach out. You can find us at ignitepress.us. That's ignitepress.us. But today we're here to talk about something and someone that is quite wonderful. Dr. Roberta Garceau is here with us, and she brings such a unique combination of skills and knowledge to her topic that I'm going to have her describe that. But we are today going to be talking about her brand new book, Bliss, Not Burnout: Hope for Healthcare Providers. This book, by the way, is available today on Amazon, where you can get the Kindle version for $1.99. That is a special launch price. And of course, the paperback is there as well. So let's bring on to the stage Roberta Garceau. Good to see you, Roberta. It is so wonderful. I am tickled pink to have this day come, and I know you've been waiting for it for quite some time.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me, Everett. I'm really excited that this day is finally here.
Now, before we get into the book, I would like for people to know a little bit more about you because you have a very unique combination of skills and background. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive into Bliss, Not Burnout?
Yes. So I'm trained and I'm a practicing dentist for many, many years with a particular focus on alignment. So people's bite and the arrangement of the teeth, as well as airway, breathing. I'm a diplomate with the American Board of Dental Sleep Medicine. So I help folks who maybe snore or have apnea or other sleep related breathing disorders. I help them to breathe, sleep, and live better. Along with that, I'm a certified yoga and Ayurveda instructor. And so I really combine the best of all those worlds together, the best of Western medicine with traditional wisdom. And for those who aren't familiar, Ayurveda it literally means life wisdom. So it's considered the sister science to yoga, and it's centuries old medicine that's still practiced today, originated in India. And so I'm not trying to debunk anything. As a matter of fact, I love to blend and elevate the best of both Western allopathic medicine with traditional wisdom for a more holistic approach. And that really runs as an undercurrent throughout the book.
And and thank you for sharing that. A lot of people have never even heard. Well, they've not heard of Ayurveda. They've not heard of airway dentistry either, and or many people. And so this is really wonderful. Now, so we're here today. Today is the big launch day for Bliss, Not Burnout. And I figured what I would do is start us off by just going to what did, what brought you to the point? What brought you to the point of writing a book? Writing a book is not a small endeavor. What got you first started on? I've got to put this in a book.
Mm, I love that question, and I get it often. Basically, to be completely transparent, I started and stopped writing this book 3 times. So it's been a while in the making. I love to write. I write every morning. That's a part of my personal wellness routine. And I do include that in the book as well as journaling and intention setting. And so I also share through my Yoga Joy and other inspirational, motivational things that I share on Instagram and Facebook, weekly blogs and inspirations, wellness tips, things like that. And so I've just started writing. And I thought that I would make a book that had multiple short little chapters or something else. And then over time, it morphed into Bliss, Not Burnout, which is a combination of psychology, of wellness, of breathing, of meditation, mindfulness, lots of little hacks and tweaks nutrition, diet, your daily routine, all of these things that we can do to enjoy greater wellness. And it just all kind of fell together as this book. And then finally, I decided it needed to be birthed. It was ready. So here we have it, right on time for the holidays.
Yeah, really great timing when everybody is burning out trying to wrap up year-end work things, prepare for holidays and family and friends, and buy gifts and you know the people who work in industries that like have significant landmarks on December 31st or January 1st. I really have sympathy for them. Now, in the book, and I didn't quite prepare you for this question, but in the book, you have your ABCs.
Mhm.
You have your ABCs to walk people through this, and we don't have to go through all the ABCs, but let's talk first, if you don't mind, about you've got the ABCs of elemental wellness, and A is for Ayurveda, and B is for breathing and breath. Can you walk us through a couple of these things?
Sure. As I said, Ayurveda is an ancient wisdom, and it's definitely part of elemental wellness. Elemental wellness is my name for holistic wellness, combining, like I said, the Western and traditional medicines. And it's it's really about having a broader and different and more holistic view of yourself in the world. So when we look at in Ayurveda, everything in life, in the world, in yourself is made up of the five great elements, which I do explain in the book. And that's partly why I call it elemental wellness, because it's the elements and it's also pretty simple. It's a simple way to understand the world. So a lot of the tools of self-awareness are based in Ayurveda. That is one of the goals of the book, is for people to have greater self-awareness, because so much of the time, like you said, during the holidays, everybody's busy, they're bustling around. You might drive from point A to point B and say, how did I get here? Not even being in your own body, right? Or you may eat a meal on the run and mindlessly and be like, I was hungry and I don't even remember what I ate, tasting it, feeling it. So it's all about having a greater self-awareness. And from there, when we're back in our bodies and back in ourselves, we'll have a better idea of how to take care of ourselves. Because if we don't even know where we are, how can we possibly take care of ourselves? And that's really, really what the message is. That's what I hope everybody who reads the book gets something out of it. Not every part of the book will land for everybody. And that's okay. That's the beautiful thing. If you love the book and it's transformational, you're finding that you're really having more bliss and not burnout, I love it. And likewise, if you get one or two little hacks or tips or tricks, or like, oh, yeah, I can do a 1 minute mindfulness meditation, or when I'm stressed out, when I'm with a patient or with a challenging person, if you're not actually in healthcare, maybe you're in another sector. When I'm having a stressful moment, I can ground myself. I can do that breathing technique that she talked about in the book, and it's free, it's easy, and it's available. So
I love it. And now you specifically call out health providers in your book. And while I may think the reason for that is obvious, I don't want to go without you telling us why healthcare providers. Why did you write this specifically for healthcare providers when I full know that this book is applicable to all,
yeah,
to really all people? But why did you write it for healthcare specifically?
I specifically wrote this for healthcare providers because between myself and my colleagues, between friends and family members, the past several years have been unprecedented with just being short-handed, people being asked to do things that are extremely stressful, with fewer resources, with less support, with less reimbursement. And so I just saw a need, like people seriously struggling in healthcare. And here we are as healthcare providers, and we're tasked with caring for others. And one of the main messages, again, of Bliss, Not Burnout is we need to take care of ourselves first. Right? It's just like when you're on an airplane and the oxygen mask drops down and they say, oh, put it on yourself first. Then you can help somebody else. Too often in healthcare, we're taught put your needs last. No, you can't eat now. You can't have a sip of water now. You can't go to the bathroom now. You've got to take care of somebody else. So it is for healthcare providers of all kinds. And I intentionally wrote healthcare as two different words in the title, um, because it's also for anyone who's caring for anybody. That could be someone who's caring for a parent, a partner, or a child. And who amongst us hasn't done something like that at some point? Probably that's most of us, right? And then it's also for anyone who's interested in just living 5 to 10% better, right? 5 to 10% with greater wellness and greater joy. The book is not about perfection, because for too much of my life, personally, I was chasing that. And I'm here to tell you it's not attainable. It's a great way to be in pain and make yourself sick. So it's not about be your best self. Oh, have your best wellness. Mm-mm, that's not what I'm sharing. I'm like, you know what? Wherever you are, whether you're struggling or you're like, you know, I'm doing pretty well. I don't particularly think I need help. If you're interested in living just that little bit more joy and more well, if you will, then this book is for you.
I really appreciate this. You and I have not talked about this, but my daughter is a nurse, and she started her nursing career in February of 2020, in what became a COVID unit,
Mm.
and she spent the next year or more working with patients as she would describe it, circle the drain, because they were dying, and it was just brutal for her. And then she left that to be a missionary nurse in Ecuador, and while in Ecuador contracted a rare disease that nearly killed her. And now she's back in the States, and is working again as a nurse. And I talked to her yesterday, and she's like, "I just need some rest. I just need some rest." Fortunately, she's on her way here, she can have some rest.
Good.
Um, but she's been my hero, and just watching her, weather this and all the lives she's changed. The story she shared about kind of like she had a couple that husband and wife that she had them both as patients at one time with COVID. One of them died, yeah, and the other one had to attend the service remotely from the
Mm,
hospital bed.
yeah.
And Claire was the one who made that happen. She's like, here. And so anyway, there are these heroes out there, but I love that you pointed out health care as two words, because there are other heroes that are just taking care of someone's nutrition, or they're they're helping the elderly, or there's so many different varieties, and they are burning out.
Mm.
And so I love the fact that your book is to incrementally or dramatically improve their outlook and lifestyle. And by the way, I'm going to be giving a copy of your book to my daughter for
Thank
Christmas.
you.
So,
Well, that is
I'll
the
be,
intention at the holidays as well. If, it might be something to think about to your favorite healthcare provider in your life or providers. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Now, so let me ask you, as you were writing this book, were there some unforeseen challenges or obstacles that presented themselves while you were doing this?
There were actually. So I had this vision. When I told you it started as maybe some small chapters and then kind of my intention morphed or my vision morphed, I really wanted to include 3 different yoga classes with 3 different intentions. So for instance, if you're feeling like you're burning out, like Claire, just going too hot for too long and oh my gosh, I just need to rest. There's a class for that. If there's a morning when you're having trouble getting out of bed, you're like, I'm just having trouble lifting my energy. There's a class for that. And then there's also a class that all of us could use this time of year, which is winding down your energy. It's like, whoa, just slow down the ride. There's so much going on around me. I just need to like ground and settle. There's a class for that. And so my goal was to record these classes and have links so that people could take a live class with me, as well as have some still photos and descriptions. And it took months and months till I could find someone who understood that goal. And I am pleased to share that I chose to print in color, and these are the classes, and it's just really, really beautiful. So I think it was a challenge that I made for myself. It certainly would have been easier if I just wrote words in black and white, and we would have been done a while ago. And that wasn't the
And
goal.
I appreciate this, Roberta, because it's something people need to understand, is that you're not just giving people theory. You're not even just telling people, what to do. You're actually showing them how to do these things.
Yeah.
And that was no easy endeavor on your part to make that happen. And I just love this, as you walking people through exercises and positions, and it's, you're to be applauded for taking the time to make that happen.
And with that too, please know it does state in the book, and know if you're just following along, if you're joining the conversation, those classes are intended, you could do the whole class, or you could pull out a couple few things, a couple few postures or poses. The main goal in the book, again, is to understand yourself first and what you need. And then there are all sorts of tools, meditations, breath work, the yoga poses, journaling prompts, and some other fun little things that you could just do while you're walking your dog or washing the dishes, or just mindful things that can bring you more joy. And there's science behind it. So I've included not just my experiences, but also stories and experiences of other healthcare professionals and healthcare providers whom I've interviewed and surveyed. It was important that it included people from across the country and across different roles, and so everywhere from a neurosurgeon to a home healthcare aide. So those are very different types of healthcare providers, and yet we share some similar struggles, and we can benefit from some similar strategies. So I also included things that were maybe more challenges for other providers, and what kinds of things were working for them. Maybe what works for me might not be the same thing that works for you.
So, thank you for that. Thank you so much. And it's funny, it sounds to me like what you're really speaking to are the things about your book and really your programs that are unique, that are different than other wellness programs in the way that you're really approaching it. And gosh darn it, that makes perfect sense given your unique background.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't know anyone with a similar set of qualifications, that have come to the table to discuss wellness. Now, chapter 10 of your book, I love it. You called it GHIG, for gratitude and grace, harmony, intentionality, and journaling. Which of those would you like to talk about right now? Nothing like putting you on the spot.
I know, right? You didn't tell me that ahead of time. Journaling. Journaling is my personal tool. If I can't do yoga in the morning, if I'm running out of time, I'll always start my day with some kind of journaling. And so in Bliss, Not Burnout, I talk about what that might look like for somebody else. You can spend as little as a minute, or maybe writing down 3 things you're grateful for. And that's a wonderful stress buster, as well as can help you to set up your day for success, for positivity, for mindfulness, for possibility. Or you can spend 45 minutes or an hour writing, if that's your pleasure, on a day that you have time to do that. So journaling is absolutely huge. And if you're not in the habit of doing it, I get that. There's an ask in the book. Try a minute a day, whether it's the beginning of the day, a lunch break, the end of the day is a great time. And just take a little time for yourself. You'll be surprised. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. That is what makes the book extra special, I think, and different from similar books, is that I'm not selling you a particular prescription, right? I'm not selling you a supplement. I'm not telling you you need to follow this diet, one size fits all. I'm not saying this is the exercise regimen that you should do. Mm-mm. I'm saying, look at yourself a little bit. Get out a hand mirror. Have take a moment to be a little more self-aware. Be with yourself, and then, what do you need? What do you need? There's some tools and strategies in the book to help yourself. So it's very individualistic. It honors who you are and accepts exactly who you are. Right? I'm an imperfect person, and so I didn't hire a model to do all the yoga classes, right? It's like, no, you got me. That's it. I'm not 20 years old anymore, and I don't look like I'm 20 years old anymore, and I'm not trying to be 20 years old anymore. It's all about wherever you are in life, whether you are 20 years old or you're 100 years old, there's something here for you.
Thank you so much for that. Now, I'm going to share with you a question that came up from the one of our editors. Actually, she was going through the process of going through your book, and this was in chapter F for fun, which you wrote for fun favorites,
Mm-hmm.
and she wrote with regard to, okay, I can't pronounce this, Arapagaha,
Aparigraha?
Arapagraha.
Yes.
And there again, the pranayama corresponding to detachment. How would you advise one to learn to strike a balance with this, capable of emotionally weathering difficult outcomes and better resilience without sacrificing empathy? That's
Hmm.
a tough one, and
That's a good question. I love it.
yeah.
So that's a really great insight. So aparigraha is one of the five yamas or restraints in Ayurveda, and it's the idea of non-attachment, non-attachment to things, to people, to outcomes, and that might sound a little cold, um, and it's not, right? It's not. I'm a very empathic person, sometimes to a fault. And what aparigraha asks us to do is to come into the seat of the witness a little bit more, the observer. So if anyone is familiar with certain forms of meditation or certain traditions, you come more into the witness, like observing things rather than being too emotionally involved. And it actually can enable you to be more caring because you're not emotionally invested as personally, as vulnerably. Like you're able to be a little bit more like watching a movie, like, oh, okay, I have a better view from back here. I can see this person. I can see their situation. I can see their struggle rather than me being in their struggle. Another way of describing that would kind of be like if somebody fell into a mud pit, right? We got a couple choices. Do we jump in the mud pit with them to try to help them get out? What are they going to crawl on our back and push us down, or we're both going to drown in the mud pit? Or do we help to pull them out of the mud pit, lift them, you know, get them out? It's a different. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it's a
Oh no,
different.
that makes perfect sense, because I think about it is it may feel better. It may feel like the right thing to jump into the mud pit so that we're right there with them and we can comfort them and they see us in the mud pit with them. And like so the instinct is like, oh, that just feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah,
When the way you can best serve them maybe be to step back a bit so that you
mhm,
can see, oh, here's a stick I can use to reach to them to pull them out of the mud pit
exactly,
instead of both
exactly.
of us getting dragged down in there. So it's actually, I'm super glad you gave that word picture, because um, I've seen it. Like I've seen it with my daughter. I've
Mhm.
seen her where she's created emotional attachments with patients, and obviously if they don't make it, then just how just how
Right.
hard that would be.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. This goes to a related question, another one actually from one of our editors, when she had talked about that codependence among healthcare providers and patients. Like people have this general understanding of codependence. Usually, people who haven't studied codependence have one view of codependence, and people who are in it have another. Um, she asked if you could elaborate a little bit on the form that codependence takes when it comes to between caregiver and patient.
Mm. So when I talk about codependence as a care provider, it's it's taking on an aspect of godliness that is not appropriate. When we talk about codependence, we're talking about tendencies to want to rescue people, again, jump in that pit with them, or to fix people. And you might say, well, isn't that what healthcare providers signed up to do? We want to make people better and make them well. Partly, wouldn't it be better to work with people to empower themselves to take steps to be more well? That might be a way. Um, the other thing is, we can't fix other people. If somebody doesn't go along with our wellness plan, maybe they're non-compliant, uh, we can't control that. So it's this artificial sense that we can control an outcome. Um, I don't know for anybody who was watching this week, we were going to launch the book a day earlier, and circumstances happened that couldn't happen. So we launched when we launched. And I said to myself, all right, this book is also about there's always a lesson, especially in challenge and adversity. So why in the world did it get delayed when there was, momentum and build up and I was so excited? Why did the book get delayed? And I realized, okay, the lesson is sometimes we can't do something. When it was delayed, I said, okay, what do I need to do? I'm a person of action. I'll write, I'll message, I'll phone, I'll do what I need to do. And the answer was, you just need to wait, right? We can't always fix or rescue something or someone. And sometimes the thing to do is take care of yourself. So when the book got delayed, I had to take care of myself. I had to do my own medicine. I had to drink water and eat nourishing food and reach out to friends and team members and be like, okay, we need to alter the plan a little bit. How can you please help me? And how can we help each other? Um, so that's a little bit more of kind of went a slightly different way, but it's also really what the book is about and how codependence is just not a healthy thing. It's not helpful. We're not God. We can't fix others. We can't rescue.
Well,
We can support people in their wellness. That's our role.
Roberta, thank you so much for your time here and answering these questions and for your book. If people want to reach out to you, you've given me an email address. I'm going to put that in the chat log right now. And are you available to speak to organizations and as well?
I am. I've spoken at many study clubs. I've presented to the Connecticut Academy of Physician Assistants. I've presented with the California Dental Association, and I'm certified speaker with the Big Talk Academy. So I would love to speak to your organization. I'm also in the process of becoming a certified transformational leader. And so, yeah, I'm all about that. Always learning.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're at the end of our time here. Thank you again, Roberta, for coming on this live cast. And I'll be excited to watch your book as it rockets through the charts. Take care,
Awesome.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Everett.
And God bless.